We officially have Tarkov's release date. BSG not too long ago put out a cinematic trailer that revealed the official 1.0 release date, November 15th, 2025. I'm honestly surprised it was released this way. I figured they would have made more of a deal out of this, but it kinda just popped up one day in the afternoon and now here we are. That's barely under 3 months away, and honestly, a lot still needs to happen either before or on that release date, and that's what we're going to discuss. The final real stretch, what needs to change inside of the game, what could we expect, and whether or not BSG can actually do this. Can they? I don't even know anymore. I think I speak for everybody when I say the absolute number one priority should be optimization across the entire game. Over the years, the general performance has gotten worse to a point where many players can't run the game at optimal frame rates without resorting to either dropping their settings across the board, upgrading their PC, or using some of the upscaling at the cost of visual fidelity. I've unfortunately had to use DLSS myself for the last year or so, whenever they release the final expansion for customs, and as someone who plays that map the most out of all the rest, it hasn't run well even with the upscaling on. I used to get over like 100 plus frames on customs years ago, but now that's anything but a dream. Maybe it's time for a PC upgrade, but nobody that has a PC made within the last 2 or 3 years should feel the need to upgrade in order to enjoy a game that previously ran pretty well. It's something that even if the contents of 1.0 were not huge and substantial, if the game ran 2 or even 3 times better, people would be more than happy with the upgrade. Streets is still a contentious point as well because that map has been a massive roadblock for both the community and the developers. There was a rumor at one point going around that Streets would be cut into 2 separate maps to help with the performance, and while I wish they wouldn't have to resort to that because Streets is kind of a design marvel, if it has to happen so people can play it, then I'm fine with that happening. Optimization isn't a conversation that needs much more elaboration or debate. We all want this, and the game kind of needs this at the very least. I'm really crossing my fingers in the hopes we see some major improvements to how the game runs, because for many, if it doesn't get better, that's kind of a done deal for them, and I don't blame those people. Something else that kind of needs to be finalized before or immediately after 1.0's launch is the general balance of the game. And when I say balance, I more so refer to how BSG wants the general flow and pacing of the game to be. This game will never actually be balanced regarding things like weapon recoil, ammo penetration, stuff like that. So we can kind of skip that conversation, but does BSG want us to focus more on exploration and finding items in our raids? Or are the traders going to have their inventories completely shuffled around, or will they look familiar to what they are now? These are interesting questions because we've never gotten a definitive answer, so the conversation around this subject has been divisive to say the least. Some want them to have more, and others want them to have less. Either way, my general hope is that they have less but not nothing. Earning new purchasable items should feel substantial, even with things like basic red dots. Smooth and consistent would be the 2 adjectives I'd use to describe progression in 1.0. Even if it means the traders have something like, a 5th loyalty level to help smooth out the progression curve, I don't think many would be opposed to that idea. But it all comes down to what they want, which, to this day, we don't have any concrete ideas as to what they might do. Cheating. Do I need to say anything else? Let's just move on. I'm kidding. In all seriousness though, like any company, they're never gonna win the war against cheaters, but this wipe has been particularly bad for how rampant they've been running around. So some form of additional protections or changes from the developers, as well as anything else we the players can do on our part to ensure we see as few cheaters as possible would be huge. I mean, the Battlefield 6 beta forced players to secure boot their PCs to even play it, and even then they banned like over 300,000 cheaters. Whether or not something like that would help as an extra layer of insulation, I don't know, I have no idea. But at this point, I'm willing to try almost anything to get rid of them. My only hope is that they're also looking at every possible solution to help their game just feel more secure. Other than mechanics and changes we do know, there's still tons that we don't have a clue about. What are the main story quests gonna look like? Is each trader going to be in the world of EFT, separated across the different maps that we'll need to travel to if we want to see them? And what about Terminal? How the heck does that map work? What purpose does it provide other than being our ticket out of Tarkov? How involved is the entire process going to be? Are there going to be any major shakeups to faction relations and how USECs and Bears engage with each other? Still so many questions. And while I like that BSG wants to keep most of this a secret, part of me also just kind of wants the answers to all these questions. My biggest concern is if the game is literally the exact same thing we have now, only there is a new primary questline and terminals added to the game. That would feel like such a wet noodle of a 1.0 release, and I think BSG would also agree, which is why I don't think this will be the case. To their credit, multiple times BSG has genuinely surprised the community with events or new mechanics that were awesome when they were first introduced. Think about it. Imagine this. You download the update when it releases. You boot up the game, and instead of going to the main menu, which we're so used to, the game opens up with a cutscene that shows Tarkov falling into chaos soon after the EMPs are launched across the region. And then at the end, it smoothly transitions into your PMC on Ground Zero and the tutorial begins. It doesn't sound that impressive or even realistic, but it would blow my mind if that happened. But it's only another 3 months, so I guess we can just wait it out. A question that has been kind of permeating the air recently after the release date was shown to us was, can BSG actually pull this off? Will they release this game on time, and will it live up to everybody's expectations? And for a while my answer was an emphatic yes, but now I kind of just want to be hopeful. I don't wish for the failure or death of this game. We've all put so much of our time into it. To see EFT hit 1.0 and have it be smooth and a successful launch would make me very happy. But with how things are right now, the AI being out of control, bugs galore with the 16.9 patch, and everything else in between, my confidence has been dashed somewhat. The game cannot look like the way it does right now after it releases. That will be the final proverbial nail in the coffin for the game. Again, for everyone who's still playing it, can still find enjoyment here and there, and are still wishing BSG the best of luck with the release, I hope we can all enjoy this game in November after supporting it for almost an entire decade. I hope that it feels new and unique, but also familiar at the same time. All we want to do at this point is cross our fingers and play it at launch. We already bought the game, so it's not like we have to buy it a second time, but maybe I shouldn't be giving them any stupid ideas. I never thought we would get to this point. An official release date from BSG for Tarkov, and a not so far date to boot. It's kinda surreal, to be honest. My hopes are this game is different when it comes out, but the harsh reality is that there's a good chance this game is the same going-ons we've been dealing with for years now, with some extra content added on and maybe some polishing up here and there. But like I said before, BSG has truly surprised us before. What's one more time for the most important update of the game and the company's life? Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts on the 1.0 release date, if you think they can hit it, how much the game will or will not change, and be sure to subscribe for more videos about the final stretch of Tarkov becoming something tangible and the game changes potentially forever. I hope to see you in future ones.